Hi all. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm sorry for a little of technical problems at the beginning, and I'm very sad that we are not in person meeting today. But yeah, what we can do, I guess this pandemia also taught us a lot of life lessons. I wanted to be a little bit more on hands on the ground and activist approach that we have in the sense of and want to tell you what are our kind of lessons learned and things that we did in the previous work. So a little bit at the beginning about us. About me, I finished the Faculty of Political Science, I'm also involved in different urban movements, like for more than 15 years, and in different civil society organizations, NGOs, etc., which are primarily involved in different struggles around common goods, right to the city approach, or advocating more sustainable development, or stuff like that. So in the previous years, we were involved in different initiatives around that. In 2014, in 2014-15, we were witnessing that in the city of Belgrade, where we were based, something big will happen. That is one prime urban development the urban development project, which is called Belgrade Waterfront, which is area of 100 acres in the city of Belgrade, which was at that point a railway station. It was a main railway station, and it was kind of promise area of Belgrade for decades. In all of the architects and the urban planners were kind of involved into imagining what there can be. But at that point, it's also connected with the changes in the government. So in the 2014, we witnessed that the ruling party became a Serbian Progressive Party of Aleksandar Vučić, and at that point in 2014, they won also into city of Belgrade. Before that, in 2012, they were winning in the parliamentary elections, but still the Belgrade as the biggest city and the capital were under rule of Democratic Party at that time. So in 2014, like this closure of both parliamentary majority and the majority in city of Belgrade became evident and became a rule. And at that point, they started to promising this big dream of foreign investment and the development of Serbia and Belgrade, and started to promote this Belgrade waterfront as something which is a game changer for the Serbian economy and also for the urban development of Belgrade. What was interesting in that is this part also with the foreign investor. So at that point, we were starting to see United Emirates company Eagle Hills as a promoter and investor of that project. And for us, because we were kind of involved in the recent years in these similar initiatives, and we were kind of involved in things how city is changing, we saw that will be a prime example of on one point corruption of the system, on another hand example of how untransparent and undemocratic procedures and there isn't any citizen participation in that sense to see how the city is developed and to participate of the citizen in their wishes and needs of the city development. And on the third level, we saw that is a potential for mobilization of the citizen because in our theory of change, we've witnessed in the previous decades that there isn't any big potential in the mobilization if you start from top to bottom. If you start like saying, yeah, we need more democracy, or we need more human rights, or we need like big values, that is kind of not so good in the mobilization of citizens. But we saw that this for like small things like ordinary life and urban development can be a trigger for the mobilization of the citizen, because in our paradigm in theory, in our theory, when you start from the bottom up, you can induce the bigger political issues such as democracy, such as citizen participation, transparency, sustainable development, etc. So we started in 2014 to the combat against the waterfront project. We then gradually grown into big citizen movement, and in 2016 we have like big series of big protests in the streets with the 20,000 people on the street, which was one of the biggest thing which happened from the 2000 until then, and that was like first after 2000 and overthrowing the Milosevic, that we had some kind of different approach to citizen activism and the political life. At that point, we were just kind of eclectic group of people, but in that sense we saw that there is a possibility of mobilization of the citizen around those issues, and by doing that we started to induce these kind of issues which are important to us, as I mentioned. So that is kind of what we did. What is also what I wanted to emphasize today, what was the answer from the ruling party and the government. So we at the beginning, we just wanted to see how it is possible for ordinary citizens to participate in the public life, in the public arena, and to see if it is possible to make some kind of dialogue between government and citizens around the big issues such as this urban development project. From the beginning, that was totally impossible. We saw and witnessed that and that became later on the paradigm of development in Serbia. On any other cases, the similar. I use this waterfront example as example, which can be used on also different other examples. So we saw that there isn't any dialogue between the city or the state or the government and the citizens or the groups or NGOs and the civil society. That was especially emphasized and go to extreme where is a project or something which is more on the economical interest of the political elites and the economical elites. The waterfront was one of the prime examples of that, especially because there is the shady United Arab Emirates investor, which at the end you don't know where the money is coming from. Especially, I am not going to details around that, but when we saw the contract around the waterfront, it's very unclear how the discussed cost-benefit analysis and who is at the end paying the project. So one is this leakage of the dialogue around the issues, not from the institutions or in the public arenas or into the media. Another pillar of how the government is doing the project and other things is this harsh attacks on the people who are against it. So on the political opposition, on the civic groups and activists, etc., we then witnessed plenty of legal suits. At this point, me personally have around 30 legal cases for different things that we did, like protest actions, etc. None of them is a criminal, because we are kind of smart and nerdy, and we don't do some things which are criminal offense. But nevertheless, it's idea to overthrow you with the cases and the fines, etc. Another pillar is that we were and still are on this kind of special measures from the police. So our telephones are tapped, and we got plenty of cases how we are tracked on the ground and on the like communication level. Another pillar is that despite this kind of this kind of security police force, is that they're extensively using the media for undermining your efforts, or also using the yellow press and the tabloids to show you as a foreign trader, you're working for Soros, something which you are witnessing similarity in Northern Macedonia or in Orban's Hungary. That became in the yellow press tabloids. But recently, also in the recent one or a couple of years, we saw that is also working on the internet. So we have just recently the Twitter was closed around 8,000 accounts which were connected to the Serbian Progressive Party, Aleksandar Vučić. So they're using this kind of Hungarian-Russian model of astroturfing and internet, in parallel internet reality to show that any opposition is evil, bad, or making the confusion and disinformation around it. But what is not going into everything is bad. But what we saw that there is a huge potential in this approach of bottom-up approach around the issues which then government cannot easily discredit, and then we saw this kind of emerging networks and civic initiatives through all of the Serbia and Balkans also. And what we faced is also on the regional level that there is a very huge potential in transcending this old narrative of divided Balkans by inducing the topics which are in the first level not so political, but they are very political. One example of that is the air pollution. And we started to work on the air pollution issue in this kind of triangle of Northern Macedonia, Kosovo, Bosnia, and Serbia, and Montenegro a little bit, because that is a issue of how you can connect people together with the issues of, okay, guys, but the issue is the quality of air which all of us are breathing in, and that is the issue on which we can and must connect, because political elites won't solve the issue. And then it's also, when you started like that, you can then induce the issues as an energy transition from coal production, etc. And also there is another for me a very good example and very optimistic example is the issue of cooperation between citizen movements around the issue of small hydropower plants, which are happening also in the region of Bosnia, Kosovo, Northern Macedonia, etc. So we see the citizen group and activist groups are working together and basically connecting to each other, which is not common yet in the region, to work against the destruction of the natural resources and the rivers from the investors who want to build some small hydropower plants, which is then also one of the issues of how we can induce and connect issues from the beginning. So how that happened, why the government is not taking care of natural resources, where is the corruption, etc. So I see the big potential in those kind of issues which are down to earth or more kind of green agenda on that level. So I will stop now at this point, and maybe it will be a little bit easier at the end to answer the questions. Sorry if I was too eclectic. There are plenty of things to shorten into 10 minutes. Thank you.